Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. The Minnesota Vikings beat the Las Vegas Raiders 24-23 as Will Reichert, former Alabama kicker, knocks in the game-winning 38-yard field goal for the Minnesota Vikings. It was a great kick to help the Vikings win their first preseason game. The most accurate kicker ever in college football, and has been viewed as one of the best kickers of college football, of all time in college football. Will Reichert, who was a 6th-round pick, drafted low 200s, like 203, I believe, with the Minnesota Vikings. Great draft pick by the Vikings. I think he's going to be a very good kicker for the Vikings. And he showed that with his first NFL kick, being a game winner for the Vikings and helping them win 24-23. Now, they were facing their former kicker, the last kicker that they drafted before Will Reichert, which is really interesting. The last kicker they drafted was Daniel Carlson, and Daniel Carlson was very disappointing with Minnesota, and Zimmer decided to let go of him, and I think Minnesota fans hate that because he has turned out to be very, very good with the Las Vegas Raiders, and he showed that in this game today, being 3 for 3. He hit some easy field goals, 23 and 31, but even hit a 56-yarder before halftime. Now let's go over the scoring summary. As the final score is 24-23, Vikings get the win. I'm going to go over the quarterback play and why I love this game. So first quarter, Daniel Carlson with 31-yard field goal. It's 3-0. Then Gardner Minshew throws a 20-yard touchdown pass to DJ Turner, 10-0. A 48-yard touchdown run for, I'm going to try to say his last name right, Kenny Nwangwu, 10-7. Then Zamir White with a 2-yard touchdown run for the Raiders. After that, it is 17-7. And then going into halftime, Daniel Carlson is automatic from 56 yards, and it's 20-7. Now, here's where J.J. McCarthy comes into things. He throws 2 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown dots in the third quarter. A 45-yard touchdown pass to Tristan Jackson, it's 20-14. And then a 33-yard touchdown pass to Trent Sherfield Sr. for 33 yards gives the Vikings the lead, and 2 extra points made by Will Reichert. It's 21-20. But then Daniel Carlson nails a 23-yarder, and it's 23-21. But Will Reichert, as time expires, knocks in a 30-yard field goal. It's 24-23. Now, game leaders, passing yards for the Raiders. Gardner Minshew looked good out there. 6 for 12, 117 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown. Now, J.J. McCarthy looked even better. It's the most passing yards anyone has thrown in the preseason so far. J.J. McCarthy threw 11 for 17 with 188 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns with 1 interception. Rushing yards, McCormick had 11 carries for 32 rushing yards, while Kenny Nwangwu had 5 carries for 52 rushing yards with 1 touchdown. Receiving yards, Trey Tucker had 2 receptions for 73 receiving yards. He caught a dot thrown by Gardner Minshew. And then Tristan Jackson had 4 receptions for 100 receiving yards with 1 touchdown. Now, went over J.J. McCarthy and Gardner Minshew. Forgot to mention or get to the other stats of this ballgame, and that includes the starting quarterbacks for both teams. Aiden O'Connell threw 7 for 9 with 76 passing yards, while Sam Darnold threw 4 for 8 with 59 passing yards. I liked what I saw from the 2 QB battles, and honestly, I really, to be completely honest with everybody, I looked at this game in the preseason schedule of preseason week 1. I saw this as the most interesting game of preseason week 1. Maybe you could say one of the most interesting games of preseason, of the whole preseason, because if you look at the 2 QB battles on both sides, these are the two most entertaining QB battles, I think you could say. I think Jarrett Stidham and Bo Nix, it's definitely interesting to see a rookie and a little bit of a veteran go at it. Get a couple other battles. Drake May and Jacoby Brissett, of course. I think there's maybe one more battle I'm missing, QB battle, but I think these are the 2 most interesting. And I think out of the QB battles, I think these are the most talented quarterbacks in the QB battles. And all 4 quarterbacks that I mentioned, Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, J.J. McCarthy, Sam Darnold, all 4 of these guys had good games today. Sam Darnold, not so much as the others. He did throw 59 passing yards in 8 attempts, but did throw 4 for 8, which is 50 per completion percentage, which we don't know if that would have been different if he plays longer in the game, if he throws as much as McCarthy or Minshew did. Minshew threw 12 throws, but he was 50% as well. While McCarthy threw 11 for 17. But Sam Darnold looked good. And with J.J. McCarthy, he looked great. This is a guy who's playing with the second team. Threw 11 for 17 with 188 pass yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 interception. He's not playing with Aaron Jones, Jordan Addison, and Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones didn't play in this game. You want to add in T.J. Hawkinson as well. He's not playing with Hawkinson, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, or Justin Jefferson, even though the only guys on that list to play in this game was Jordan Addison. But if those 3 other guys were in this game, he's not playing with them. Sam Darnold is. So if he's putting up these numbers, 11 for 17, 108 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 interception in his first preseason game with the second team, imagine what he could do with the first team, having guys like Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and also T.J. Hawkinson and Aaron Jones. So and the first team offensive line as well, which I know isn't great, but it's a lot better than the second team offensive line. So yeah, I think I'd love to see him paired with the first team offense. I know Sam Darnold's going to get the reps at Sam Darnold's going to get the reps at with the first team. I don't think we'll see Justin Jefferson a whole lot in the preseason, but if we do, it's going to be with Sam Darnold. It's going to continue to be that way with Jordan Addison. Will be that way with Aaron Jones as well. I don't know if T.J. Hawkinson is going to be playing in the preseason due to his injury, but if he plays, it will be like that as well. I'd like to see J.J. McCarthy with this first team because if that gives you an indication of what it would look like in the regular season. I know we want to see Sam Darnold, but I'd like to see at one point in the final 2 preseason games to the Vikings, I'd like to see them potentially have the entire first team out there with Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, and Justin Jefferson, and maybe T.J. Hawkinson if he's healthy, and the starting offensive line. For 2 drives, Sam Darnold gets a drive with the starting offense, and J.J. McCarthy gets a drive with the starting offense. I think that would be pretty interesting if you asked me. But, yeah, so both guys looked good. And then on the Raiders side, Minshew looked good. Minshew looked really good. And Aiden O'Connell looked good too. So these are 2 QB battles that continue to be really interesting with players playing good in, playing good in preseason. Rushing yards for Minnesota outside of Kenny Nwangwu, Ty Chandler with 7 carries for 33 rushing yards. Myles Gaskin, 5 carries for 22 rushing yards. McCarthy was impressive on the run game, 18 rushing yards on 2 carries. And then McBride with 3 carries for 17 rushing yards. For the Raiders, Zamir White with 6 carries for 23 rushing yards with 1 touchdown. How about former Minnesota Viking, 3 carries for 15 rushing yards. Also forgot to mention for the Vikings quarterback, Jaron Hall, 7 for 16, 63 passing yards. No Nick Mullins in this game for Minnesota. Outside of Alexander Madison for rushing yards, it wasn't really a lot elsewhere. Anthony Brown Jr., quarterback, had 13 rushing yards. He only threw 24 passing yards, though. We can go to receiving. Trey Tucker, I mentioned, had 23 receiving yards. Jacoby Myers is great with 3 receptions for 45 receiving yards. Brock Bowers in his rookie debut had 2 receptions for 25 receiving yards. Jalen Guyton had 1 reception for 24 receiving yards. DJ Turner had 2 receptions for 23 receiving yards. Michael Meyer had 1 reception for 7 receiving yards. No Devontae Adams in this game for Las Vegas. For the Vikings outside of Tristan Jackson, Jalen Naylor had 3 receptions for 63 receiving yards, while Trent Sherfield Sr. had 3 receptions for 46 receiving yards. N'Keal Harry, former Patriot, had 2 receptions for 22 receiving yards. Jordan Addison only had 1 reception for 7 receiving yards. Fumbles. There was a fumble by quarterback Anthony Brown Jr., but he recovered his own fumble. And same thing goes for running back Myles Gaskin, but he recovered his own fumble. Now, defensive stats, Trevon Mohering led the Raiders in tackles with 6. As a defense, the Raiders did not have a single sack in this game and only 1 tackle for loss, which was by Amari Burney. And then for the Vikings, they had a total of 4 sacks in this game. Bo Richer had a sack. Brian Osama, the second, had a half a sack for James Lynch as well. Anybody I'm missing? 1 sack for Levi Drake Rodriguez, and the other sack went to first-round pick Dallas Turner. And they had a total of 9 tackles for loss. The only interception in this game was an interception for Jack Jones that was thrown by J.J. McCarthy, and he returned it for 4 yards. So this was a great game. I think this could be one of the best preseason games of the whole preseason, and it's only week 1. But I think this, if you look at it, will probably be definitely the best game of preseason week 1, though. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and peace out.